TWC9 from Jacob Gray. There's a lot to unpack with this pistol. So we'll start with the slide. We're going to talk about optics plate, the irons, trigger, of course, grip, and some mags we tested today. This is a staccato piece size holster, but there's a little bit of differences and nuances in regards to holsters. However, if you do need holsters for, say, a staccato, a 5-inch XC, an Alchemy, any other holster like that, you can hit up our website and check out a full line of Safari holsters, Safari line holster mods, holster wraps, holster accessories. And while you're there, check out the canine gear, belts, placards, split carriers, all the stuff we offer on the rdrgear.com website. Jacob Gray, welcome to the channel. So, TWC9. Unique pistol. Good looking gun. It shoots very well. But let's start unpacking some of the things. So number one, let's start with slide. First off, not sure what this is about. Right here, this cut. A little bit unique and different. When I did some research on this company, I understand they made aerospace products, and that was their kind of niche. So machine shop, machinists, etc. The styling is good on the pistol. I'm not for sure how deeply skilled they are as pistol smiths or pistol builders, because that's where I think some of the things I found in the pistol lack and don't really have the same finesse and fitment of other 20 other brands in the market. The cock inspirations up here are unique and very different. They work well, but again, this cut out up front here is a little strange. On this one, they don't quite meet. So again, there's just a few things that are odd with when you hang your hat on being a machine shop. There should be better fitment in regards to that aspect there. The other kicker is the irons on this gun. If you guys can see on here, this is a super, super fat front sight. I mean, width-wise. I'm not for sure why this front sight is so wide. I want to say this is a night vision insert, but it also looks like a big dot. So I'm not quite sure on which one that is. It looks more big dot than anything else, but that's just, in my opinion, not a sight you would put on a 2011 pistol. This needs to be either a standard tritium or a fiber optic of some sort, because when you look at the width of this dot front sight and you look at the width of this and the shape of this rear iron sight, it doesn't have a lot of width. So when we look at the pistol like so, there's not a lot of light in front of the irons on either side of the rear to the front. So it's a little bit awkward for a coat witness iron sight setup. The RCR was not my choice. This is what the customer put in the gun. And this deck height is pretty tall right here. One of the reasons why I got rid of the RCR was when I had them. But when you look at the co-witness height, you get a pretty good height over the base of the RCR, but these wings right here, these little corners, they're much taller, and then the bottom of the actual rear iron sight is here. So we're barely clearing the deck height once you take the RCR and you mount it to a plate. And that was one of the downsides I found with the RCR, was that if you mount the RCR to a plate, you increase that deck height. It was when we first saw the RCR as a SHOT Show, almost every single one we saw was direct mounted to a RMR milled pistol. So there was no plate, so the dot sat super low on the pistol. But with this fatness right back here on the deck height, once you add a plate to it, this thing gets pretty tall. Overall, slide barrel to frame, or barrel to slide fit, solid, well done, and gun shoots very well. But at the end of the day, when I look at this pistol overall, the front end right here and the front iron sights is the areas that I find issue with on the slide. Let's talk about the frame. And you guys at home, when I say, I'm going to talk about this gun in 3 parts: slide, frame, and grip. Because slide, frame, and grip modules are removable. On 2011s, they kind of come in a 3-piece set, right? So the area where I was surprised with this pistol, since they are a higher tiered level machinist, was the fit and finish on the gun. On the back side here, with the safeties, when the safeties drop, these corners right here and right here on the pistol are super sharp. There's a very outright poor blending job between the safeties and the beaver tail on both sides of this gun. when you look at right here on these corners, they become super sharp in the hand. I've shot a lot of 2011, so I've got this giant callus right here. And when I grip this pistol, it almost split me open today. Granted, a little colder outside, but when I drop this pistol, I can feel it on both sides of the gun because they are just not very well blended through here at all. They're more noticeable when the gun is in safe. You can kind of see right here how they hang off these corners right here. They're just super sharp, and I can get my fingernail up in there, or this Sharpie, like you can see how it catches. That's just something that should have been more blended, and these didn't need to be as sharp. They need to be more swooped in. And if you guys want a great example of a rear blended beaver tail and safety, look at any Infinity pistol out there. Now, you're not going to get that level of blend on every gun, but that's the kind of holy grail of blended beaver tail to safety. So again, that's something that could be done. A nice touch on the beaver tail, though, is the LPI right here. That is kind of a cool feature. Goes right down into the mainspring housing. If the rest of the gun had this level of detail texture, we'd have a different conversation. If it was on the front right here versus this kind of this pretty little pattern, because this is milled into the grip module. This is an aluminum grip module. But if you had this LPI up front right here or on right here, dang, man, we would be a night and day difference in when we get to texture and grip texture. This giant screw. I've never seen anything like this before. And that was just very odd why they chose not to recess that screw. So when you look at the screw, grip screw right here, why they used one this large, I have no clue. It is massive on both sides. And when you look at like holsters, say for example, if you were molding a holster for this and you didn't have a CAD mold, this is going to be an issue. This is going to be an issue for any CNC, CAD molding. This is going to be something that every mold has to have a time to address because the trigger guard is also a very strange shape. So this, and compared to this is going to be a tough one for non-light bearing holsters. We're going to talk more about holsters later. Going back into the trigger is great. It's heavy, probably 4.5, 5. For a 2011, that's pretty heavy, but it's not bad, and it shoots well. The gun is sprung well, it shoots soft. Why this trigger wasn't recessed, again, that's a little bit different as well. But the trigger is heavy, but again, it's good for what it is. The one feature I really do like on this pistol is the magwell. I think the size of the magwell is very well done. I like how it doesn't flare too much outside the base of the pistol, and it's very well blended to get those mags in the gun. So again, the magwell, really well done. The grip texture, as I mentioned earlier, this right here, I understand maybe why this was done in more of a EDC concealed carry, not to rip up clothes or whatever. And I didn't find that the gun was like, oh my God, it's coming out of my hand every time I shot the pistol. So these panels are not bad. Could they have some texture? Yes. Will they probably change that in the future? Yes. But there's only so much you can do because these are aluminum. So this can be all the way over the panel, but it's still not giving you texture. It's design. So again, unless they made this aggressive, you're never really going to get true texture on that gun because again, it's being milled into the aluminum grip module. So with these, you feel them, they're just soft. So there's not any real bite to them. So something to consider on that aspect. Rail section. This is where I'm still kind of working. The holster I've tried so far, I've had a hard time with holster fitment in whether it be a Kydex holster and or a Surfline holster with a light. Because what I believe is happening is when you look at this rail section, it comes down and then it drops down and it starts out again. I believe we're going to have some holster fitment and some other guys I've spoken to who have this gun for review and holsters. This top to bottom width right here is wider than a standard government 2011. And that's because, again, this drop down here. So with this cut, I'm assuming they had to drop this down to make this cut even. So if this cutout wasn't here, this might come back up and then the 1913 section would start lower on the pistol. And then it wouldn't be as deep down this end of here. So again, I've had a hard time getting this pistol with a light into a Safari holster as well as a standard 2011 holster mold. Now, Jacob Gray does say that the pistol should fit staccato P holsters. But again, a little bit of research has not led me to believe that's true. So if they are saying that that is what staccato P holsters does it fit, that's something I got to do some research on. And again, if I owned this gun, I would deep dive that conversation, but I don't. So for you guys out there, if you're looking for EDC holsters, appendix carry stuff, I know Roger at QVO Tactical, my buddy Roger over there, he has one of these now in-house, and he is modding and making holsters for this pistol with various weapon lights. You can reach out to them and see what they're offering. I'm assuming X300s, Tier 1 HLXs, etc., and his Wingman and other appendix carry style and OWB holsters that he offers, but you can check out that website with those guys to see what they're going to offer for this gun. Final thoughts, man. This gun's been out. I think we saw these at SHOT Show this year, January, and there is already another one of these on the market called the Black, and I believe from my research, I think they're already out. I've seen a couple reviews. What I didn't see different was this rail section right here. So that's still a concern on holster fitment. And with this rail design, the only holster that are going to work are things like the Tier 1 concealed, MSP, where they're locking on the light, and kind of a generic holster fit. I think the floodlight is kind of the OG leader of that design, where the Kydex is all on about the light, so it doesn't matter what gun you put in the holster, they all retain off a light. So you're going to need that generic cavity shape for the slide and frame, and then the light is going to be your retention point. But they did add some texture here. Again, it's more of this, so you're not really getting texture, you're getting design, which I don't know if you really... The gun's not slippery like it's going to be dangerous or an issue, but again, unlike a polymer frame where you can add stippling or some of the more aggressive metal modules or aluminum modules, there's some lacking in regards to there. So again, take that for what it is. Do your own homework on that. I believe the trigger was changed as well to a skull knife trigger. This bolt was still there, so I'm not for sure. This has got to be something in the design of the gun itself. But this is going to give holster makers some issue, this size of this screw. So if you look at any other pistol out there, it is not nearly this large. Trigger's good. It's heavy, but it's good. Optics plate, again, they didn't change the irons from what I saw. Again, I'm not for sure why this size iron was designed and used, but you guys, this pistol was $2,500 retail. If you said, hey, Jeff, would you recommend I buy one of these for $2,500? My answer is no. There's too many fringe issues, because it was designed by someone who wanted to make their own gun. Kudos to them. It's their vision, their design, their styling, but it doesn't fit the mold of the traditional 2011 market. It's not a commander, it's wider commander, it's slipperier, all those things kind of come into a factor. If you had $2,500, I would say you go two ways. One, you save money for a P, and you buy a staccato P and you find one, and then you're probably going to be short at that point. You're probably going to need another couple $100 for a used one, maybe around $3,000 for a new one. I haven't really checked the market for staccatos. Or you buy a Prodigy and you contact someone like Skip's Guns, and you take that $2,500, buy your Prodigy, and you use that extra cash to have someone like Skip's Guns do a full-on package that they offer on a Prodigy. And that now then becomes your pistol, what you wanted to have, all the features. And I promise you, I've had really good luck with my Prodigy. No issues whatsoever. I've had one from day one. And that's not me being a shill. That's just honest answers. The conversation you guys have. I have zero need to bullshit you guys and say, oh, the pistols are great, when I'm in the behind the scenes over there racking double feeds and fixing malfunctions all day. Not worth my time. But building off the 2011 platform of a Prodigy to build you guys a mid-tier pistol that doesn't break the bank at $3,000 with an optic, with all the tuning, with some extra magazines, and kind of built up the way you want it. That's a good way for anyone who wants to get into a 2011 to use a Prodigy as a host and not tip the scales at $3,000 to $4,000 when it's all said and done. Because if you buy a staccato today, you easily are going to hit that 4K mark pretty quickly with magazines, optics, lights, holsters, etc. So this one here, I would like to see another variant. Maybe they come out with a 5-inch gun and bring a more traditional dimensionally shaped 2011 with the Jacob Gray touches. But I think the gun's beautiful looking. I think it's a gorgeous idea. I think they could keep this, redesign some of the slide features, change some of the optic options, and I think they'd really come back to the market with a much better pistol that had more support across the board in the accessory line. So you guys, that's just my honest answer on this pistol. This was, again, not sent to me from Jacob Gray. I did not purchase. I borrowed it from a customer of mine who bought it and had not had a chance to shoot it and asked if I wanted to review it. So that was my 2 cents on that. But again, you know, this is something that you have to do your own homework, but I hope this review helps you guys and make that decision, because this is a little bit of a unique one in the 2011 space. That's all I got for you guys today. I know it's a long one, but if you like what you heard, like what you saw, you like the channel, like the content, like, share, subscribe. Until next time, be well. Take care.